Hey folks, welcome back. It is a very warm, cloudy day here today. It's also voting day. So, I hope y'all go out and vote. I voted last week. Record turnout for early voting in my town, and I heard it's pretty busy this morning. So, we'll just see how this pans out. Now, in the beginning, and I'll show another picture of it here. And I've had flags before that were store-bought, and in order to keep them fresh and crisp, you have to replace them quite often, right? So if for nothing else, it fades in the sun, and it has a tendency to fray because the wind blows so badly here. So I decided to grab some scrap lumber. I didn't even cut it to size, folks. I just kind of lined it up. Got some that are pretty similar in length. There's some narrow ones, some wide ones. Some are narrow on one end, wider on the other. You know, fresh sawn lumber slabs. That's all it is. And I went and bought some paint, some red, white, and blue paint. I didn't sand the lumber at all. It's rough cut. I didn't sand it. I just spray painted it. I did brush it off as any dirt or pine needles or spruce needles on there. I did brush it off, but then I just painted it. And we will see. Now, it does not have 13 stripes. I do not have room for 13 stripes on the side of my woodshed. And it does not have stars in the corner. So in order to keep it kind of symmetrical, because the slats aren't fit together, they're spaced apart a little bit, I also spaced the blue in the flag, and those are just discarded shakes from my house, and I just spray painted them, and I kept them kind of evenly spaced apart. But what I did was, I wasn't thinking, folks. I spray painted the red, white, and blue stripes, and I meant to, on the stripes, the slats, the long skinny ones, I meant to paint those blue in that corner, until I started screwing them together, and I'm like, and spacing them the blue apart, and I'm like, So I don't know if I'm just going to go back and spray paint in between the blue part, the slats, or just going to leave it with red, white, and blue there. I don't know. What do you think, folks? What do you think? So far, 3 people have seen it, and they said they like it. One thought maybe I should go back and spray paint in between the blue shakes in the corner to make it all solid blue. And I'm kind of leaning that way as well. So y'all tell me what you think. It's not meant to be perfect. Like I said, I just guesstimated the length. I didn't even hold them up. I just kind of stood them up in front of me and said, yeah, that's eyeball length. I did not sand it. It's really rough lumber. Some of it still has the bark on it, and some of it are live edge and the bark had come off, or I finished taking it off if it was loose. So it's not fancy. Nothing is lined up. There was no rulers, no measurements, no nothing. I just eyeballed it, and if it seemed to fit, it fit. And if it was close enough, I left it close enough, and that was it. It kind of fits here. Nothing is perfect here. Everything is rough cut lumber. And when it's not perfect, it looks more rustic. And I'm kind of the rustic kind of gal, right? So there you have it. I hope you all are well. I hope you either voted or are going to vote. We'll see what happens. We're not out of the woods, folks. Both sides think they're going to win. Both sides are going to think that the other one cheated. So I think whether I want to believe it or not, is there's definitely going to be some rumbling. There's going to be some, you know how it is, folks, right? And both sides are going to do it. Not just one side's going to do it. They're both going to do it, and we'll see. We'll see. It's a long time between November 5th and January 20, right? Long time. So I know I voted my conscience. I voted the way that I believe. I vote the way that I want this country to go. And y'all can vote the way you want to. There's no hard feelings here. I tolerate your beliefs. You should tolerate mine. And I stand by the American flag. No candidate is perfect. None. So we all have a civic duty to vote if in any way possible, and I feel better about voting. I finished my flag this morning. It's good enough for right now, and then I move on to another project. That probably took me, by the time I gathered the slats, brought them in and put them by my wood stove to dry out for a few days, and painted them and hung them up. I don't think it took a half hour, folks. I really don't. So a quick project, something that means a lot to me. I'm glad I did it. And I could go, like I said, I could go out and buy another flag and just have to keep replacing it. Or I could make my own. It looks more like it fits in here. The sun will help it fade a little bit because it's a little bit too bright for what I like. And no, I'm not going to put stars on it, folks. One, I'm not artistic like that. I couldn't paint a star for nothing. The colors are there. That's good enough for me. I understand what the stripes, the stars stripes mean. I understand the 13 stripes, the red and white, the blue, the stars. I know what that all represents, folks. I do. If I wanted a flag that looked like a store-bought flag, then I would have just gone out and just kept replacing my store-bought flag. This one here, going to last a whole lot longer, and it's good enough for me. Have a good day, folks.